Good morning. Happy Tuesday and welcome to SJU. It's episode 500 of Guess Who's Bat? This Bat is Batman. It's Michael
Bat
Keaton.
again. Keaton's back. Tell a friend.
Keaton's batted again. We're going to talk about very weird Flash news, streaming war updates, and some love for Joel Schumacher is all on the table for today, and a very important surprise ending that you will have to wait all the way for. Spencer Gilbert has some pretty big news for you.
Oh, I'll come up with something.
Exactly, I'm giving you a warning. Bat Point Paradox. Joe Starr, Danielle Radford. Oh, Sarah's here. Spencer Gilbert.
Hey.
Did she make a noise into the microphone?
Totally purred.
Yeah. That's the only time I've been answered in the intro, so thank you, Sarah. Let's talk about this. This is via The Wrap. The Wrap has reported that Michael Keaton may be reprising his role as Batman in the Flash movie, which we had questions about what was happening with the Flash movie in total. So let's talk about that too. So he's in the very, very early stages. It's not a sure thing, but we can keep our fingers crossed. So no details available about how big or small the role is, but THR said that he could be signing on for multiple films, which feels like a detail to me, but sure. In the Nick Fury type of mentor role for other DC projects such as Batgirl. So the plot will introduce the audience to the idea of the multiverse, one of the core concepts underpinning the DC comics, and Matt Reeves' upcoming Batman. As a result, the upcoming Batman movie will not be affected, and Patterson seems to be the Bruce Wayne future of the DC world until he's not, which we will find out after the Batman comes out. So fingers crossed that all of them are very, very good. The Flash will disregard the latter two 1990s Batman movies and just pick up where Keaton left off, which is okay by this lady. Loosely based on...
Put some respect on Joel Schumacher's name on this day of all days.
Okay, I will, but when it comes to The Lost Boys, for example, I have nothing but respect for that name, which is a great film that I absolutely love. Also,
I will call this
St. Elmo's Fire.
I will call this a win if that means that Forever and Robin are a part of the Blacklight-averse of Batman, and Chris O'Donnell comes back full Blacklight karate laundry Robin in a separate role.
Yeah, if there's a laser tag universe that we can travel to, I'm in.
Okay, I think that's all available to us, you guys, in Flashpoint. That's my take on this news. I want to hear your take on this news. So there had been a question about Ezra Miller and returning to Batman. To returning to play the Flash. Looks like he is. We don't have any news to indicate that he's not, although there were some questions around that, as we know. But the Flash movie seems to be moving forward with director Andreas Muschietti of It. And their script is from the Birds of Prey writer, Christina Hodson. So let us hear from you guys about your feelings. Is it cool, Spencer?
Is it cool? Are we cool? Are we cool? It's look, I still don't believe that this movie's for real.
Wait, I just did a whole thing. Like, I just spent 2 minutes telling you it is real.
But we've been down this road before. This isn't my first Flash-themed SJU. They keep hiring and hiring directors and firing and hiring writers, and maybe they're going to get a new Flash. Who's to say? Now they're like, yeah, we're doing it. If we can get Michael Keaton to agree to go back to Batman. So it's like, I don't know. I live my life a quarter mile at a time, Roth. You know that. I'll believe it when I see it. Of course, if Michael Keaton can come back as Batman, that's incredible. Maybe in some type of Batman Beyond, mentor situation. That's fantastic. Making him the Nick Fury, like, I don't know. You don't want too much of a good thing. Just sprinkle a little bit of a little Batman in your picture. That's all you need. What's not to love about Michael Keaton coming back? I've learned not to trust good things, so I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I understand that, and I also have a lot of fear in my heart. But that said, in terms of living your life quarter mile at a time, you also have to have a little bit of faith in the family to pull it out. And if Batman's not our family, who is, Danielle?
No one. We are familyless. We are all orphans, and we are all wards of the Bat. I'm really excited. I want Into the Bativerse, man. I'm super into it. I think it's interesting that they call him a Nick Fury figure. I think I'd be more pumped if he's more of a Peter B. Parker figure, where he comes in and is also sad, sure, and likes pizza, but for me, that was a mentorship role that wasn't so much I don't like the Nick Fury comparison because that automatically leads to, oh, well, they're setting up this huge thing. And it's like, just one thing at a time, guys, like that. But, and I get that you sign him on for multiple movies, and I get that it's not going to be that, but I don't want something that's immediately the first thing it does is set up a million different things. Whereas in Flashpoint, you can get crumbs of that, but I don't want the movie to be about that. I don't want the movie to be about Batman's getting together a team. I do want them to delve into the DC multiverse, because if there's anything that DC does really, really well, the multiverse is their jam, man. Like, that is what they do. And so I'm excited, but again, I don't want it to be another like Iron Man 2 where it's suddenly this launching point for a million things. I think you can seed that in there, but I don't want that to be the focus of, okay, this movie has to be the anchor for, 80 different whatever films. Now, the idea that you can use that, because I loved the CW Crisis, and I loved that there was that DC movie Flash cameo in there. Spoiler for a thing that happened a year ago. But one of the things I love about that is that you can put the germs of all that stuff in there. And especially because DC, I think, is particularly primed for this, because they have so many different properties right now that you can, there's a million different universes, even just on TV. There's the stuff with the CW. There's a Harley Quinn cartoon. There are things that are connected or not connected or teased to be connected. And especially with Crisis on Infinite Earths, or it did kind of tease that all of these things might be connected. That's really cool. I want to see way more of that and way less putting together of any teams.
Makes a lot of sense. By the way, can we just...
I think that's the least amount of ums I've ever said. Someone's got to time me.
I think if a deep understanding of Batman is what we want in our elected officials, which we do. Danielle, 2020. Sarah, let me ask you a question. Percentage-wise, how right or wrong do you think Spencer is about this movie not happening?
Spencer and Sarah have this in common. They both they err on the side of expecting to be disappointed. Just careful people, and I appreciate that. However, for me, if my hand is this news, then my excitement level is this cat's face, because I am very, very into this idea. A couple of levels. One, if we get an on-screen official reason to make people understand that DC movies can stand alone and then also connect if they need to, instead of just saying it, great. That's cleared up. Two, put Crisis on Infinite Earth in my eyes. Put it in my veins. Let me eat it. I hadn't watched any Arrow stuff in ages, and then I watched that Crisis thing, and I loved it. Look, if there's one thing I love, it's when things from another thing show up in a thing that they wouldn't typically show up in. That's why cartoon characters successfully kept me off drugs for so long.
It's the team up.
It's that sick team up. And even with CW resources, when they were like, here's Burt Ward, I was like, this is the best. So if they can give us the big screen version of Crisis on Infinite Earths with like Keaton rolling in, and you guys, a Keaton is a gateway drug to a Pfeiffer.
That's right.
Oh, yeah,
That's right. That's right.
Hell here, coming soon, maybe?
Why stop now? We could have Bob back in our lives.
Yeah, Bob the Joker's goon. I want that so bad.
You jest, Spencer?
I want Bob the Joker's goon so bad in my life.
Imagine how many Harley Quinns we could get.
Yeah.
Oh.
So many Harleys.
I mean,
but I'm interested in what you said about Pfeiffer in particular, for very obvious Catwoman was my jam reasons. And oh my God, first of all, what do you put on your hands? Do you just bathe in catnip? Is it like just like a hot medicinal bath of catnip? Is that what's happening for you every morning? Okay, good.
It just eats tuna with a bare hand every morning for breakfast.
It's the maw of tuna to start my
out of
day.
the can.
Both of them have clearly not backed away from comic book movies. Neither of them have. So why not reprise their iconic roles? Maybe they're together. Maybe that's part of the backstory. Maybe they're still fighting. Maybe it's War of the Roses. I don't know. I'm tossing out ideas.
Hey, I mean, it definitely gives us a Batman Beyond. If they give us a big screen Beyond where Keaton and Pfeiffer are training, the Batman of the future, that's cool.
so into it. And Sarah, I think is though she's feeling cautiously optimistic and also like Spencer doesn't want to be hurt. I think she's feeling optimistic nonetheless. And she can
Sarah's
also
playing with fire. Sarah wants a crisis moment where the Snyder Cut Justice League and the Joss Whedon Justice League meet and awkwardly stare at each other from across a room.
Mustache Superman and non-mustache Superman pointing at each other like the Spider-Man meme.
Bad.
Yeah.
I want to see it badly.
If someone has a sense of humor, they will do that, right?
Like Halle Berry would come back as Catwoman. Like that is a guarantee. She would come back for 30 seconds and be Catwoman and make fun of herself.
Absolutely. Give me all of it. I would be so excited to see Halle Berry come back as Catwoman in a crisis movie. Give me every bit of it.
How many Batmans is too many Batmen?
Ooh.
We're about to find out.
We are gonna find out.
How many living Batmen are there?
Oh,
2, 3.
It's like presidents.
Yeah.
Okay, there's all right. Let's figure it out. We got
Keaton.
yes.
Val Kilmer, George Clooney.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Bale. We have
Pattinson. Affleck. 6. Adam West.
Kevin's got to
RIP.
count. Kevin Connolly or Conroy? The voice.
Yeah.
Count.
Conroy.
Ian.
7. There's probably other voice actors. Let's throw 2 other Batman voice actors in there.
Gotham.
Oh, the Gotham? Yeah.
The Gotham baby boy.
The Gotham kid? The kid, baby Bruce Wayne and Joker.
10. That's 10.
Oh, did you say Lego Batman?
We didn't, but we should.
Lego Batman, yeah.
Will Arnett.
Look at all those Batmen.
Look at him.
There's a lot of Bat persons.
Yeah, I think it's just missing the. So who's that one at the end?
Let me ask you a question. Does the kid who played young Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins count?
Yes, as does the kid who played young Bruce Wayne and Joker. You have to have a whole child's, like a children's crusade worth of Batman being sent off to die in Gotham.
I think we're staring down the barrel of like 13 Batmen.
Yeah.
Is it just going to be like a DuckTales-esque Scrooge McDuck swimming pool of pearls at one point? Where just all of them have to dive in and swim.
Yep. Just a wave of pearls going around out the alley, like.
Danielle, you've seen when all of the doctors met, right?
Yep.
Except one, right? Who's.
Yeah. Well, he was struggling in his life at that moment. He wasn't a happy man. All right. So you guys, Ryan, check the comments and see if they are excited about this Bat news and how many Batmen they think is too many Batmen, and if they can say that 10 times fast and record it and send it in real fast. And in the interim, while you collect those pieces of information, Joe Starr is going to thank us for our patronage.
I will indeed, Roth. Hey guys, thank you for liking and subscribing. And if you haven't hit the like button, hit it. Just take like a second. It's there-ish. It's that thumbs up. Just hit it. Thank you. Lots of cool stuff to look at. We did a great Rob Paulson Hey Fandom. You can find highlights of that on fandom.com. While I ramble, Ryan will thumbs up me if we have a clip or not. I can't remember if we do because I'm bad at this. You can find all of that stuff over on fandom.com after they air. I highly suggest you check it out. That dude is a one-man show, and he took Rads on a journey. And it was great, and you should totally watch it. Goofy movie Honest trailer dropped today. Make sure you watch. Stay for the comments because we pulled out a special treat. Epic Voice Guy made an epic phone call, and so make sure you check that out. That's very cool. Everything we're doing right now is in support of Direct Relief, who is supplying emergency medical equipment to frontline responders to COVID-19. So please make sure you share those links, donate if you can, and wear your mask. Wear it. And then, of course, there are links in the description on how you can get involved in Black Lives Matter.
All right. And then also, speaking of Hey Fandoms, we have our very first one for gaming on this Friday at 3 p.m. We have Troy. If you like The Last of Us, we have Troy Baker. And he's going to be there this Friday, 3 p.m. Please tune in. You can come. You can ask him your questions. It's going to be awesome. These are really, really fun. Like Joe said, Danielle hosted a great one this last week. I don't know. Time has no meaning. It was recently. And Troy Baker this Friday. So Ryan, what are the people saying?
The people are saying all sorts of wonderful things. A lot of people were down with the Batman Beyond movie idea. I saw a lot of pro Batman Beyond at Vachitius says, yes, Joe, I really want Batman Beyond with Keaton. There was also some questions about Ray Fisher's Cyborg. Cyborg's a big part of the Flashpoint story and stuff like that. Jason Whitcomb asked, will Cyborg appear in this film? I looked it up. There's a reply on a social media post from a producer of the movie that suggests that yes, but it's still nothing confirmed. But you would think with this storyline that they would probably bring back a Cyborg of some fashion, whether it's Ray Fisher or not. And then Danny Orange actually is not on board for this. He says, at Danny Orange says, they're still making the huge mistake of attempting to set up a big hypothetical universe. So dumb, even when they have a grounded Batman on the way. So he's not into that.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to get the Batman.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I honor your feelings on the matter.
I do think that's the part I'm most excited about, is that they're not ditching everything for this thing. I think that allows me to have my heart a little bit more open than if it was, well, we're not doing any of the cool stuff that we mentioned we're doing. Now it's just this. So
let me ask you guys a question. Do you want more streaming services? Because you get more. Or you're getting a one that's like slightly adjusted. All right. So SpongeBob. This is via Variety and the Wall Street Journal. The SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, is one of the next or latest in a line of kids movies in particular that is skipping their theatrical debut and will go straight to a streaming service. So instead of going to theaters, it's going to debut for rental services in early 2021, before landing exclusively on CBS All Access, the streaming service owned by the studio's parent company, Viacom CBS.
Is that Keanu in a hay bale?
What?
Or a tumbleweed or something?
Yeah. These movies get weird, dudes. These movies get really weird.
Is he the voice of God in the form of tumbleweed?
In a way, if you remember from the original SpongeBob movie, David Hasselhoff made a huge cameo, and that was big for kids at our time. So I think they're calling back to the David Hasselhoff cameo by getting another random icon. That's just my 2 cents.
Did you call Keanu Reeves random just now, Ryan? Is that what you just did?
It's random for a SpongeBob movie.
In Bikini Bottom. You don't see that every day.
Okay, we'll allow it.
Recording from our youth.
Thank you, Ryan. Ryan keeps us young to some degree. But so, yeah, first of all, a couple things on this. CBS All Access is now, I think, and Ryan, fact check me on this one if you can. CBS All Access is basically expanding what it is as a streaming service. And because it's the parent company is Viacom, as mentioned, who also owns Paramount, I think it's going to be a larger service than it has been for just sort of the CBS properties. And this is one of the first moves in that direction. So that's something interesting and notable on how they're going to try and compete in this very, very, very packed field at the moment, because CBS All Access, as we know, is already struggling in that regard. And then 2, SpongeBob at home. Thoughts? Sad? Is this a thing that you should see in the theaters, Ryan? Ryan?
Yeah, for sure. Been waiting for years. Yes, but to what Roth just said, yes, there was actually the CEO just actually came out on THR recently and did an interview where he talks about expanding the streaming service as just the Viacom overall streaming service. Your MTV, your Comedy Central, your CBS All Access, their movies. I think it's also been making a move to be accessible in more places. Like I can get CBS All Access through my Amazon Prime Video. So getting on your Roku's, getting it on your various platforms to make it more accessible to people, I think is a big thing. Yes.
Do we know the price point?
Let me look it up. I know there's one with ads and one without. It's another one of those things. I'll look it up right now.
Can you also look up if BET Plus is on there? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Catch up on Girlfriends.
Catch up on Girlfriends.
And then after that, Ryan, see what everybody's saying about a new streaming service and if this would be interesting to them. What about you guys? Thoughts, feelings?
This is so much better than paying for all of these stupid things individually. I've been wondering why it hasn't just been a Viacom service where I can watch MTV, VH1, BET Plus, as curated by Tyler Perry, as we know, and all of these different things. I am way more likely to shell out money for something like this with Viacom's deep library, where I can watch as much Flavor of Love as I choose to. I'm much more likely to dish out for this than I am for any of these individually. This is perfect.
I think they definitely need to lean into the depression aspect of quarantine and just be like, hey, do you need just hours of pop-up video library? Just archives of it.
Yeah.
This is the service that you need. Just something to blankly stare at while fun facts pop up over an AHA video, I think is how you market this one and make it stand out.
It's strange that obviously Viacom owns Comedy Central, which owns South Park, and a lot of huge shows that wouldn't be on any kind of Viacom streaming service. So you're gonna get some kind of Swiss cheesed version of MTV and Comedy Central and CBS and stuff like that, unless they can slowly but surely buy back the rights to all those shows. And nobody knows except for the true sick individuals what a Viacom show is, anyways. So it's got the same kind of HBO Max problem where it's nobody knows what's under that umbrella. So it's definitely got like I said, some few holes in it. But if they can, what do you call it?
Yeah,
the all-seeing eye, the eye of Sauron. But I think
that's okay.
The more, sadly, the more things you can have under one tent, it's probably the better for the viewer at the end of the day, even though it's maybe worse for the world.
Is it worse for the world? I mean, I don't know. First of all, I think we should probably name it for them because they're going to need some help in that regard, and we like to help. So Spencer, what do you got?
Oh, well, the all-seeing eye, right? Just the CBS,
that's the name of the channel?
Yeah.
I mean, of the service?
Yeah.
The eye. Yeah.
The eye.
It's a little intimidating, but it's kind of sick.
I mean, they're a corporate juggernaut. You got to intimidate, make everyone shudder before you. So yeah, the eye.
Okay, the eye.
And just to update on price, it's $5.99 with commercials, $9.99 without, and then they have your various little deals and stuff. And for Danielle's question, it does look like that they are folding that all in, including BET Plus. I don't know if it's officially accessible right now if you went onto it. I do know that I was watching old Survivor episodes yesterday, and they were advertising it. So on CBS All Access, and they also. They had a separate service for Nickelodeon shows, and now that's folded in. So that would suggest that they would also fold in the other ancillary services.
I love the nuggets that we get about Ryan's life, sprinkled throughout the episodes. Ryan, ask the comment. You guys, let us know if you would pay that for this service, and then also pitch your best name. So I think we're going to have trouble beating the all-seeing eye, but Joe, give it a stab.
I don't think I can give the eye a stab. It's Wrath will come down on me. I was trying to think of is there a flagship show from one of the networks that you could just say, screw it, it's called Rock of Love, the streaming service.
The Jersey streaming service.
I like Rock of Love Plus.
I like Rock of Love.
You get
Plus.
Rock of Love and also some other things like MTV and Comedy Central, Nickelodeon.
Or you call it Liquid Television.
Oh,
ooh,
yes.
I was going to go with pop-up streaming video, but Liquid Television is much better.
That would only matter to us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Liquid Television was so good, you guys.
But it's also CBS. CBS already skews
Old.
Yeah, I was trying to find a way to say it without calling us old, but it does. It already skews
marinated.
There it goes. It's just been it ages like a fine wine in a casket. So I think we would be good with naming it some. Unless we just want to call it CSI, your dad's streaming service. I don't know.
No, I mean, what about we just combine Joe and Spencer's and it's Love in Your Eye?
Here's Love in Your Eye.
Let's move on.
Okay, never mind. Ryan, what do people say?
And the logo is the CBSI, but with a rash. So bloodshot and inflamed.
Ryan, what do the people say? Right.
Let's see. There's a good amount of votes for CBS Plus, just going with Old Faithful in the chat. And then I think at Philip A. Dimrick said go in even harder and just call it plus and just lean in all the way.
I like plus.
And it does look like there's a lot of people in the chat feeling that sentiment of too many streaming services. To quote at Sassamafras, there are too many streaming services. And then at Darren Bannister says, with streaming services penchant for removing or editing shows and films, I'd be reluctant to shell out for any more, which I think is a good point.
That's fair.
All right. We'll get ready for that streaming bundle brought to you by Apple any given day, because that's where we're headed, folks. This is just cable all over again. But we knew that. We knew that all along. And you know what? In the interim, it's a weird ride. So why not? We're going to close out today's show respectfully, as we always do, remembering Joel Schumacher. So Joel Schumacher, as we have discussed, passed away this week. He was 80. He was the costume designer turned director of films including St. Elmo's Fire, which I mentioned is an underrated classic, thank you very much, of the 80s, and the Brat Pack, pardon me. The Lost Boys, which is a beloved film that I absolutely love. One that I think people don't appreciate as much, Falling Down. And then the two Batman films. He died in New York City Monday morning after a battle with cancer. So what about you guys? What are some of your favorites?
I mean, I sound so glib, but I really genuinely do, for different reasons than I like other Batmans. I genuinely do like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin for what they are. I think that he gets a lot of unnecessary kind of hate for that, because so much of it was because of the backlash, because of Batman Returns. And I said this in our review, because Batman Returns was so disturbing and sexy that they had to find a way to sell toys. And so he was given very direct edicts from the studio about what to do in order to make sure that they could still be in league with McDonald's and all of these other things. And so I think that he winds up getting, nipples on the batsuit, all that stuff. But I think that he winds up being unfairly maligned for having to deal with a lot of studio interference. And I like the aesthetic. I like that weird, day glow, glow in the dark Blue Man Group stuff. And I think that was very interesting, and that he was able to successfully, unsuccessfully take this thing that was already big and iconic before it came out. We were wearing the bat symbol on our shirts, a year before the thing came out. He was able to take that and find a way to still keep some of the same feeling while trying desperately to appease the studios. And that's not easy. And I think that he had a hard go of it, and I think that he did his best. And I think a lot of it was more successful than we give it credit for.
Yeah.
Again, with the Batman commentary.
Only have me on to talk about Batman, apparently.
Well, you know what? It's our credo, ABB, always be Batman.
Always be Batman.
Always be Batman.
Starr.
I think something really cool about Schumacher, especially in an era where I think in the 80s and then early 90s, I think male characters were all sort of expected to be like the Arnold and sort of these big, macho sort of action characters. And then you're still coming off an era. Yes, you would just come off Keaton, but you're still coming off a culture that was writing angry letters to Warner Brothers, because they were all like, Batman's supposed to be 6'7" and 850 pounds, swole AF. These guys aren't Batman. And I think Joel Schumacher was always so good at letting his male heroes, his male characters be a little more effeminate, a little more rounded out, and not just oils and muscles on Stallone, even though Schumacher did not shy away from oils and muscles either. Let it be known.
Lost Boys saxophone player.
Yeah.
But
the oiliest, muscliest shot in film.
I've always appreciated that. I think he was a little closer to 80s music, pop culture than the rest of Hollywood was. While the rest of Hollywood was no, you're either Eddie Murphy and you're wisecracking, or you're Arnold and you're huge. But both of those are very hypermasculine in the same way. I think Joel Schumacher was what if a person who killed a vampire could also sing for the Talking Heads? And I just think that that's really, really cool.
Also, he celebrated comic book nerds as being heroic before anybody else in the Corys, the dual Corys in Lost Boys. Again, a classic for all the reasons that we've mentioned of the saxophone and the vampires and the Corys. Spencer, thank you. Did you guys
There
just
he
have
is.
that? Thank you. You know what?
Legend.
That's why you're
Absolute
great
legend.
producers. That's producers.
They know our minds, Roth. They know what we want before we know
Spencer,
it.
I've promised the community that you are going to surprise them and delight them with
Oh, I
our.
was going to talk about Joel Schumacher.
You can do that, and then you
Okay.
can do the other thing.
And then I'll just improv a fun announcement.
No, you'll just improv some rap.
Oh no, I'm not trying to get canceled here, Rob. don't put that on me. I would just like to say about Joel Schumacher, I think that something that's maybe underrated about him is how many people he quote unquote discovered. And I know they've like maybe been in bit parts and stuff like that before, but like he gave us Colin Farrell for better or worse in Tigerland. Better. I think better. The Corys obviously took them to another level. Julia Roberts, Flatliners, right?
Yeah, man.
Like
Flatliners, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kiefer Sutherland from Lost Boys, like he discovered people. He put people on the map that like you know and love, even if you didn't love his movies or they weren't to your taste. And like the guy knew how to party. He spent a year in a Speedo, allegedly. Never changed out of a Speedo. He says that I detest Bill Maher, but he had something to say about him that I thought was cute. Was that like he went to a party? Joel Schumacher went to a party at 11 and came back when he was 54. The guy had a good life, or at least a fun life, by all accounts. So props to him. And yeah, his movies, for better or worse, were always had a vision behind them, and I love and respect that.
I think you're right. And to Danielle's earlier point, if you look at those other movies, by the way, I love Flatliners unabashedly. Don't care what anyone says. They're all very heightened, you know, they're just to the left of reality. And that includes the ones that we've been mentioning today, like The Lost Boys and like Flatliners. And so he may have been going for heightened on heightened on heightened with Batman. Anyway.
Yeah, he would go around on the refrain he had during Batman and Robin was we're making a cartoon, people. So he was making a cartoon. Take it or leave it. I think he pulled that off.
All right. Well, we are going to close with a surprise from Spencer.
God damn it.
I'm giving you 30 minutes. You're a comedian.
Yeah, but I'm so groggy this morning. I'm just not. I'm off my game. Everything I'm thinking is offensive in some way. So
Yeah, this is cute.
yeah, we'll just pan to
that
a
is
cat.
cute.
All right. Pan to the cat.
Everybody name your favorite Favor of Love contestant and why is it New York? Okay.
We'll see you guys. What is it? Tuesday? Tomorrow. Yeah. Why not?
Wednesday.
Clicking the
We're
lap.
on Wednesday. Look at
That's
that
cute.
cat.
Look at that.
Oh, it's her.